That's what it says on the box for Championship Lode Runner, and they mean it. There are 2 games I'd put at the very top of the most difficult Famicom games. One of them requires that you have psychic powers to beat it. That's not a joke. It literally requires that you have psychic powers to beat it. The other is Championship Lode Runner. You know how in Mario Maker some people make those levels that require pixel-perfect movement through the whole thing? And they make them as crazy challenges that only a handful of people will ever really enjoy? That's Championship Lode Runner. Players from around the world sent Lode Runner creator Doug Jones their own levels. He selected 40 that he found to be the hardest stages out there. There's another 10 stages that were selected by the editorial board of a game magazine. 25 of these levels came from Japanese players. The thing is, these levels go beyond just being challenging. They go into straight-out sadism. A very common element in these levels is that they require that the player completely manipulate the robots. You have to use them as bridges, sometimes while they're in midair. You have to kill them at the right point so that they respawn correctly. You have to manipulate their movement so that they'll fall into the correct holes to make new bridges. The manual has a lengthy section on how to manipulate the robot movements and what you can do with them. It also reassures players that all the stages are beatable, and lets them know that Hudson will not provide hints. Even when you know what you're doing in Championship Lode Runner, doing it right requires amazing skill. Hudson did make a couple of improvements to the Famicom Lode Runner engine for Championship Lode Runner. The screen now scrolls in multiple directions, so it can go tall as well as wide. The holes take a little bit longer to fill in, which was necessary to complete some of the challenges. If you pause the game, you can scroll around the map so that you can view the whole screen. Most significantly of all, if you try to skip ahead to level 11, it requires that you enter a password. All of the levels past level 11 require a password, and if players manage to collect all the passwords, they could mail those passwords into Hudson to receive a card that certified them as champion Lode Runners. I found that they only issued about 50,000 of these cards. Even in the days when it was more common for people to dedicate themselves to beating a single game, Championship Lode Runner made a lot of people give up. How mean are these levels? Well, the official guidebook to Championship Lode Runner says about level 31, "This is not a puzzle." That stage requires that you first manipulate the robots to fill in the hole at the bottom, then fall your way through the invisible maze, sometimes requiring a drill in just the right spot, until you fall out at the bottom onto the gold bar. There's plenty of dead ends in the maze for you too, so watch out. As for my own record with Championship Lode Runner, I have beaten 2 stages in the past. I couldn't do it again while I was recording the video, but I have beaten them. So here's the thing about Championship Lode Runner. I know that some of the nearly 24 people who will watch this video will see it and go, "I like challenging games. I should play that." That is exactly what happened to me. You enter with bravado, and then quickly find out that it's a nightmare of cruelty. And the thing is, Championship Lode Runner has a pretty small bag of tricks. Do you like manipulating robots so that they fill in gaps that you can cross? What about long paths that you have to keep running back and forth on so that you can open them up a little bit more each time before they seal back up again? If Championship Lode Runner was a series of thoughtful levels that had a variety of challenges, I'd say go for it. But this is more levels from people who figured out a couple of very difficult to perform tricks and then just wanted you to do those tricks over and over again. Lode Runner is good. These levels are not.